We are going to transform this 3-litre milk jug into these spooky skulls. Let's get into it. I'm going to show you how to make the half skull first, then we'll do the full skull. The first thing you will need is a skull form. This is a plastic skull form, which I'm going to be using to make my half skull. It's fine to use a plastic skull, but be aware that they can and do melt, so you need to go a little bit more carefully. A resin skull doesn't melt, so it's a little bit easier to work with. It's a good idea to get a resin skull with a detachable jaw, so you can make some skulls without that bottom jaw for a little bit of variation. I'll be using my resin skull to make the full skull. I always wear a glove on the hand that is holding the milk bottle for a little extra layer of protection. This is just my husband's work glove, but I'll often wear my gardening gloves. The first thing we need to do is peel off the sticker. A quick blast of heat will melt the glue and it will come off easily. Cut off the handle of the milk jug, and then for the half skull, you're going to cut up the side. You don't need most of the bottom of the milk jug, but keep a little bit so it can wrap around the head of the skull. You can decide how much you want to keep. I only need the face of this skull for my project, so this will do for me. Can you see how the chin fits in nicely at the bottom there? And there is still enough at the top to give the illusion of it being a full skull. Okay, so grab your heat gun and turn your skeleton upside down because we're going to start with the jawline. I always start with the jaw first because once you have that jawline wrapped, your milk jug is fairly secure, which makes it easier to work on the rest of the face. Working in small sections, heat the plastic up until it's just slightly translucent. Then grab your damp washcloth and press into the skull. As you can see, once you finish the jawline, that skull's not going anywhere. As you move on to the deeper ridges of the skull, like this cheekbone here, you're going to create a weak point because the plastic needs to stretch to mold into that part of the skull. Got two things to say about this. Number one, try and get it right the first time, because if you go over it again, you're very likely to create a hole in your skull. Number two, use that washcloth to protect that weak point so that you can continue working around the area. Because this is a plastic skull and we've been working on this side for a while now, I'm going to give this side a chance to cool down and do some work on the other side. For my project, I really only need the face of the skull, so I'm going to cut off all of this excess plastic. The top of the head and the back of the skull are usually the thinnest parts of these plastic skulls, so go easy and don't work on any one section for too long. And there you go, it's looking pretty good. It is still going to be a little bit hot to the touch, but you should be able to just unpeel the plastic from the chin and pull that skull form out. on to our full skull. There are only a few differences with this one, but we start the same. We need to take the sticker off, and then we need to cut the handle off. Once you've done that, pop your skull in and decide whether you want to have the jaw on or off. I'm going to have the jaw on. This is an important part. We definitely don't want too much plastic wrapping around that bottom jaw, otherwise it makes it really hard to get it off at the end. So only leave just enough plastic so that it only wraps around that jaw a little bit. It's done. Now for the tricky part. We need to get the skull out. If you do have too much plastic around the base of the skull, now is the time to cut it off. Once you've done that, peel the plastic down, and this is where having the detachable jaw really comes in handy. Pull that jaw out and it will make it so much easier to get this skull out. Grab your Stanley knife and starting at the crown of the skull, make a big slit from the crown all the way to the base. And then it's a matter of manhandling it and wrestling it until the skull finally pops out. Push or mold the plastic back into place. At the base of your skull, heat one side and then use your washer to slightly overlap it and press it together. And then quickly heat the area along where you made your cut. Gently push it together. And then lay your cloth over that area and leave it for I'd say about 30 seconds and just let it cool down. When you take your cloth off, you should have a perfect seal. And that's the hard part done. Now you just need to give them a quick blast of spray paint. This just creates a nice base for the stain. I've got a walnut stain on hand, so that's what I'm going to use, and I tend to go pretty heavy on the stain because I like the skulls to look a little bit dirty. When you finish staining, wipe off the teeth and then just dab off any excess stain. The final step is painting the eyes and the nose and adding any contouring. I tend to contour around the cheekbones and the jawline and really anywhere where there's a recess in the skull. I also add a little bit of black dry brushing because again, I kind of like the skull to look a bit dirty. I really like these skulls. I think they look great, they're cost effective, and they're pretty easy to make. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video and subscribe for more Halloween spookiness. See you next time.